Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
That's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to another episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates. This is a family episode, and by family, I mean me and Shannon. Now, Shannon has her own podcast, and she refuses to talk about things on this podcast that might skew the numbers on her podcast, but we are going to get into it today. Young Natalie is missing, probably in Ireland, searching for her father, and maybe using a lot of apps and vaping in order to get there, according to her generation, who has no guidance, only technological guidance is what they have. So Natalie is missing, and we miss her, and we hope she finds whatever she's looking for out there in this big world. But we love her and we miss her. And Shannon, do you often feel like we're Natalie's parents? I feel like I'm the only one who says it, and then no one kind of gets behind it. Everyone kind of just awkwardly changes the subject. Now, I want to talk about turning this podcast into a real family and a family unit. Me and you moving to Rockland County and getting Natalie her own room and maybe a pony or something like that. I don't think she's old enough for a car.
I don't hate that idea. I feel like that would be a really fun reality show.
Yeah, a reality show. And we would raise her as our 20-something daughter while we try to figure out the podcasting world, while we try to navigate a marriage, a podcast world, and a young daughter who loves horses. That could be her thing, that she loves horses.
And just always yelling at her for vaping.
Yeah, we get on her about her Gen Z lifestyle, and then she goes, and her catchphrase would be "Screw you, boomers," even though we're not boomers.
Thank you. I'm happy you said that.
But I'm closer to a boomer than you are, Shannon. You're much younger for me. For the fans who are like trying to do the math right now, which is not our fans' strong suit. If you're trying to do the math, just cut it out and get back on your forklift. So, because that's where our fans really live, in the warehouse.
But by the way, it came up in the lounge earlier where somebody asked how old you were, and I was between two ages in my mind. How old are you?
All you need to know is 16 inches. That's all you need to know. Pythons wrapped around your throat. That's the only number you need to know in the lounge. You might get choked out in the lounge. What are you going to do when you have these guns around your freaking neck? How old am I? How about mind your business? I'm talking to the fan, Shannon, not you.
Okay.
Mind your business. So I'm 50.
Okay. That's exactly right in between the two ages I said.
You thought I was 60, Shannon?
No.
Was that your high?
No. I feel like I was collecting multiple people's ages in my mind, and I couldn't settle on it. And I said 47 or 53. Neither are a reflection of how you look or your 16-inch biceps. It was just the number that I had in my mind. And you are exactly right in the middle of those two numbers.
A couple more years, I'm going to be on Cigar Aficionado magazine. I would love to be on that one. That means that you've aged well when you're on Cigar Aficionado magazine.
It's a good goal.
It's a good goal. Is a chance for us to get caught up on some housekeeping issues. First of all, Shannon, because I'm a good listener and everybody who listens to this podcast knows that. That's why we're the fastest rising podcast on this network. And we haven't reached, the heights yet, but it's a slow rise and we're going slower than I would like. So if everybody could jump on board, that would be great. And it would help the numbers. But everybody knows I'm a great listener. How have you been?
Wait, how is that an example of your listening skills?
Because I'm ready to listen. Look at Shannon.
Oh.
Look at what that is. Get a close up of it, Shannon.
I got it.
That's my ear. I'm listening. I'm listening to you. I want to table the family idea with Natalie. I don't know how Katie would take that, but you guys, you don't have any ties. Maybe you're going to tell me something that changes that. And Natalie is rudderless, like a rudderless teen. So I'm the only one. I would have to just tell Katie, like, let's ease out of this. Let's just be friends for a while. I have, a family in Rockland County.
But we could be like a platonic family.
How's that?
Like you can still have like your secret like you would, and Katie would be your secret family.
Well, no. Katie, I'm sorry to do this to her, and she's not here to defend herself. Katie would be my girlfriend in the city. I think Katie would actually be fine with this. Now that I'm saying it out loud. She'd be my girlfriend in the city. You guys are my family up in Rockland County.
Okay.
Rockland County is kind of where's that, Terrytown? You could have a farm in Terrytown. You take the train in. You would have to take the train in.
Yeah, I guess so. There's gonna be a lot of bugs there.
Yeah. No. We'll get an exterminator. We'll have it blessed by a priest. We'll cover ourselves on all levels, Shannon. So you won't have to worry about anything. Can't have my baby worrying. Okay? The stress is bad for your beautiful olive skin. And I wouldn't want you to break out into anything. So we got to have you calm. We probably get you a therapist up there, if I don't mind saying so, on the podcast. Get you somebody, get your head straight, start living a good life again, Shannon. Not worried about all these pretend fears that you have.
I'm offended.
I'm sorry, Shannon. I'm sorry, but it would snap you right into focus having a family, I think, and you wouldn't be worried about bugs anymore. You'd be raising a daughter that you wanted in the podcast world. God, maybe we went about this all wrong. That's what we should be doing. We should be doing a family. God, we should be doing a family. Natalie, and it's Natalie wakes up. So, where are my shoes? That's a problem, Shannon. Where are my shoes?
And I'd be like, if you put them back after you use them, you know where they are.
Shannon, yes. Yeah. And she doesn't want to take it because her hormones are raging. And then I have to step in. I was like, what do you think this is? You think you live in a luxury hotel? You don't talk to your mother that way. I take up for you. We're a team. You don't talk to your mother that way. And then she storms off. And then we have a quiet breakfast.
I like it. I would take her phone away.
We take her phone away, Shannon. Okay. Oh my God. That's why it's co-parenting. I think what we're talking about here. We would co-parent Natalie so good together.
I think you're right. We'd all be better for it.
And we'd be better for it. And our numbers would be huge. We would be, the fans, I think, would be the secret children. We would break the fourth wall. And the drug addicted gas digital fans would be like the problem child that isn't there. Listening in.
Or they could help us with their parenting. Like at the end of every episode, we like put up a poll and be like, oh, how do we fix this problem of Natalie's? And they weigh in on it and tell us how to fix it.
Yes, Shannon, you're a genius. That's why I married you 15 years ago in a quiet ceremony on Staten Island. And that's our backstory, by the way.
In a VA hall.
Well, I think our backstory is that you were getting married to a first responder at a fire hall, and I swooped in. They said right at the time where they said, because this is your perfect scenario, Shannon, and because you're not really in love with him, he's balding, he's getting a little pudgy, he's, whatever, he's a firefighter, but not the hero that you imagined, but you're marrying him for security. You've basically given up at this point on love. So you're at the altar, and right when the priest goes, is anybody object to this ceremony? Boom, the doors kick open. Okay, it's me. A full sprint to the altar, and then I do violence in front of you, Shannon, but on your behalf. I grab the Bible and then I kick the guy in the chest. He falls backwards, and then I have to fight all of his best men. I beat all of them up, which makes you're ovulating at this point. And then I pick you up, and then there's a chopper outside, and we go to another location, Staten Island. We're careful not to upset you. I know you don't like leaving Staten Island. And then we get married, and we immediately have our daughter Natalie.
I love it.
That's our backstory.
I love that.
It's got everything that you love in it.
And then we like fast forward to Natalie being whatever age she is, 20.
Yes, and now she's mad because she can't buy a new pair of shoes. She finally did get one, and she's cranky because you wouldn't let her wear them. And she comes down in a scanty outfit, and I go, "Not today, young lady. Where are you going? What?" And then you go, "Mike, it's a young woman." I go, "I know, but where's the rest of it?" I exclaim.
This is great.
It is a great one. I think that's what we really should be doing. Not this show, searching for answers that no one cares about. People love family, Shannon. And I think that's what's missing all of our lives. Now, Katie would be my Manhattan girlfriend. And I'm sorry, you would have to be good with that.
So I know about it.
What?
Do I know about it?
I don't think you know about it, no. Because I don't think you would be good with it. You're old-fashioned.
Right.
But you're old-fashioned to the point where it's like, if it is happening, men will be men. And as long as you're taken care of, which I think is the Staten Island Borough saying. Welcome to Staten Island. As long as he's taking care of you. And so I think that's the way it happens. I don't think Katie would hate it. I have to run it by her, but I don't think she would hate it, Shannon.
It's the newest series coming to Gas Digital, web series, Podcast Family.
Yeah, Podcast Family. Yeah.
Does Natalie still work on the show?
Yeah, she works on the show. And the reason it works on the show is you took her to work one day. It was a mom take your child to work day, and she took to graphics, and it turns she's very good at graphics and talking about the other podcasts on the show on her own podcast. And then we're just like a network family. And I think a good catch is the father has the lowest numbers of all of the family members.
Do we make it meta where we then like go in a layer and then show the actual recording of our individual podcasts?
No, it's like you could do parts from the podcast, but the thing is really about our family story.
Right.
Natalie wants a dog. It's like she wants a dog. I mean, she can't even take care of her room, Shannon. What are we even talking about? And then you say, but Mike, a pet is good responsibility. It's a teacher for good responsibility for young Natalie. It's like, what about the little things? And then I pull a bag of chips. What about this? And there would have to be a laugh track, Shannon, because, it's like, and what about this?
Not an
she
air
left
horn.
These chips just open?
It's a laugh track instead of air horn.
Yeah.
Okay. This is perfect.
Actually, I would like that for our show, a laugh track. So, yeah, I'm just pitching some ideas for the future, Shannon, because we can't continue doing this. Or can we? I said it 5 years ago, we couldn't continue doing this. And you know what? We continue doing it. And the fans that stuck with us, God bless these low-income whites who just stuck with us the entire time. I don't want to let them go. But if we could morph this into a family show where we raise Natalie and we overcome the issues of today, we caught her vaping in the room. We caught her with a minor amount of pot. Where'd you get it? We put her on the burner about it, Shannon. I think it would be great. We got nothing else to do. We got nothing but time.
I'm on board.
We got nothing but time, and we can pitch it to Ralph, and that could be part of it. Us pitching it to Ralph and Lewis.
But then do they have to give us a budget to like buy this house in Rochester?
I mean, it's all going to be in a sound studio,
Oh,
the Gas Digital Sound Studio. It's not going to be a real location.
okay.
What do you think, Shannon?
Well, then Katie doesn't have to. Then there's nothing for her to be okay with. We're not actually
No.
living in the house. I think
We're
we'll
gonna have to live.
in
We're
the
gonna
house.
have to do it for real. You're right. You're not wrong. We're gonna have to do it for real. And I think that's gonna, put some kinks in my life. But you know what? It's all about the numbers and the downloads.
Can I bring my cats?
That's a good thing that we can fight about. And then Natalie sides with me. She's allergic. You're putting your daughter's life in danger. And it's like, you don't care. And it's Mr. Whiskers and Tony Robbins. He's a motivational cat. He motivates the other cat because the other cat's depressed.
They have their own storylines.
Yes, the cats are part of the family, and we have to decide whether to keep them. Does one get a scratching post? Does another get a scratching post? One is black, one is white. There's a racial narrative there. Okay? Do they get separate bowls because of that? And could we morph them into one bowl for all cats of any race?
Oh, not the race part. I was saying no before you said the race part.
Okay.
Cats do need separate bowls.
Shannon, please be clear. But no, this is a great ideas. These are great ideas, and I'm for it. And I appreciate when I bring it up if you guys don't change the subject quickly every time. Okay? We're all are getting older. None of us have a family, and all of us could stand to make some money off of one.
Okay, I'm not going to even tell Natalie anything about this. I'll let you reveal it to her on the next episode.
Okay. But it would be good if we could have a guest producer and then all of us could sit down in the room and then we could have the cameras cut to everybody's reactions on stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just something to think about. I mean, as soon as Alex was done with her fake pregnancy, maybe she could do it.
That's a good idea. And the baby's going to have to be involved.
Oh, is there really a baby?
It really is a baby.
I thought the whole thing wasn't. I thought she was actress of the year.
No, and actually the baby is like so cute.
This baby is beautiful, huh?
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little time for the baby to be cute because they're like a little weird when they're first born.
Right.
But she was like very, very adorable.
Right out of the gate?
Yep.
Which is what we're calling her. Okay, there's not necessary, Shannon.
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
Let's talk about what's going on. Well, first of all, I was being a good listener, and then I talked over you.
Yeah.
So I realized that was my flaw, and I'm going to make the correction on it, Shannon. I'm going to go ahead and make the correction on it.
Okay. This marriage is going to work out, I think.
I think it's going to work out. I really take feedback well, and I take it serious. When my wife doesn't complain about it, but just keeps silent and lets me ramble on over her, but then just gives me a dead stare. And I know then that I have to be what, Shannon? A better listener. Okay, so Shannon, what is going on with you? I've been so busy hustling in and out of the Gas Digital Studios. What's going on with you? Your podcast is doing great.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're having a lot of fun. Last night we had Sherrod Small, and it was actually we had a really
great.
Good
He's
time.
So great.
So funny.
So funny and very, very quick.
Mm-hmm. He definitely dodged around the segments on the show a little bit. Like he avoided having to answer from himself, but it was still very fun. But yeah, I'm sorry. All the noise is happening in the moment. I apologize. But yeah, so that's going well. And aside from that, personally, it's nothing fun. Don't be excited. Nothing fun is happening. But I've been starting to run, which I hate. I hate the idea of it. I hate
from
the
your
idea
fears.
Yes.
I thought you were already doing that, Shannon.
No, I'm not. No, I just ignore them.
Okay. Well, how is it on your knees?
So far,
And dare I say this, because this is an issue to think of with a voluptuous woman like yourself, your upper torso, you
no,
have to wear some kind of a sports secure bra.
yes, I wear a sports bra.
Okay.
But so I don't like the idea of it. I hate cardio. That's not a fun thing for me. But when we were in Jamaica, Ralph was talking about, I don't know if you know that Ralph Sutton, that he does like half marathons all over the world. Like he goes on trips to do half marathons.
I did not know that about Ralph.
So he has one coming up in Hawaii in like December, I think. And Hawaii is one of the places I've always wanted to go to that I've never gone. And so we were talking about it, and he was like, if you can get to the point where you can do like 8 miles in a few months, then you can come with me to do this marathon. And it was 8 miles within a few months because he wants to make sure that like he can like sign me up that I can actually like live through doing the half marathon. So once that happened, there's an app called Couch to 5K. And I downloaded it, and I've been on my treadmill, in my second bedroom, as you know.
Yeah.
I've been using that to start training for it. So it's a slow process, but I'm trying to be able to do the half marathon.
A half marathon is 12 miles?
So a marathon is 26. I think it's like 13
miles.
miles. Yeah, I think, or slightly above that, something like that. Yeah.
Is there also an app for people who want to go lazier, instead of couch to half marathon, couch to bed? This is good for our reality show where we're living together, and I have a girlfriend in the city, and we're raising Natalie. But then you are having a torrid affair with your work boss, Ralph, where he's, which I didn't know, endurance athlete, a secret endurance athlete, and you're going on these trips with him to better yourself, and you're training and getting into that whole field, and then you're stepping out on me, maybe.
Oh, as my husband, are you going to be okay with me going on a trip with my boss?
I don't know. How much do I trust you? That's really an issue that we'll have to discuss on the show. Like our marriage is at stake here. It's like, how much do I really trust that you're not going to sleep with your boss? I mean, women are attracted to their bosses a lot of times because it's a position of power. And as a woman who loves tall men, Ralph falls into that. He's handsome. He's powerful. He's the president and CEO of Gas Digital. And, those are very points of attraction for a woman, even a woman who's fake married. So I would be very worried about that, Shannon. We would have to have a talk about our marriage vows and what they mean to you. And you would have to guarantee me that there was going to be no funny business, no sweatiness after the marathon.
Would you believe me though?
Mm-hmm. I would believe you.
Okay. But you know how when a spouse is cheating on the other one, they can always tell because all of a sudden they start working out more and caring about their appearance more. So I'm going to like start running more and more. And you'll be like, why are you running more and more? But then I'm nervous to tell you about the trip.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a whole thing.
Yes, Shannon. That's called, you're doing a dramatic build to what the arc of the episode, and you're worried about it. But are you still showering me with attention and affection? First of all, I require that. So I'm going to know if you stop doing that, I'm going to know that something's rotten in Denmark.
So what about if like on like running days, all of a sudden like your breakfast is like a little bit late, or like I don't bring your coffee to your bed or something?
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't mind that as long as you're bringing me with the same zeal and affection that you usually do. If I see that drop and you're working out, I'm like, this bitch hiding something.
Is that your catchphrase?
That's my catchphrase. Thank you, Shannon. God, we're writing this on the fly. This bitch hiding something. Episode 126. And then would you be, Shannon? Would you be cheating?
No.
With Ralph? No, because that's a great ending, because I think you would. And then we have that moment at the end. You're like, babe, I'm in this for the long haul. Young Natalie needs both of us here.
And it could also be like the part of like where all the comedy comes from in those episodes, because it's like all these silly little things that you're like, that makes you think that I'm cheating on you, but they're really just like
Right.
benign things, and it
Right.
just adds to the comedy.
Coincidences.
Yeah.
And maybe I show up at the race then. At the end, when you finish, flowers for you.
That's good.
Isn't that a good ending?
It is. Or it's like, then it's like you and Ralph are like both there at the finish line, because he obviously finishes before me because I suck at
Right.
running for real. And so you guys are both there. And then it makes it look like I'm going to run to Ralph at the end, but then I actually run to you. And then that's the end.
Oh my God. Shannon, I was on the edge of my seat just waiting to hear what you were going to say. Because right at the end, we don't know. I mean, mine was more predictable, but yours was a cliffhanger ending. It's like, I don't know, we both have flowers. He has a trophy, money, and he's so tall. I'm on a step stool. I'm on a step stool, Shannon. I don't know. It could work. And Natalie, the beeline is Natalie is giving the babysitter a hard time. I don't know. She's 20, she's 23, but she still needs a babysitter because we're not sure. Okay,
And-
she's ready.
And then she also, because we've been also like a side plot is also that she's been wanting a dog and we don't want to give her a dog. So then she talks to the babysitter into letting her
Yes.
get a dog. And then the dog tears the house apart while we're both in Hawaii. And then she has to rush to fix it before we get home.
Shannon, I think you have a talent. Listen, I'm not going to call you a screenwriter right now, but I think you are definitely an executive producer on this. Okay. I don't know how you're coming up with this gold. I don't know what happened to you today. I don't know what your endorphins were. I don't know what's going on with you, but I think we just wrote a series and we just wrote a couple episodes right now. And for the fans watching, I mean, I knew Shannon was talented, but this is crazy, the ideas that she's coming up with.
I'm excited.
I love it. We just have to get some financial backing. And then, yes, that's a great storyline. So let's keep going with real life. And then maybe we can take these real life nuggets and plug it into the story.
Uh-huh.
So Shannon, you're going to do this. And do you think that you're going to, how long do you have?
So I think, oh God, we're almost at the end of April. I put the day in my calendar. It's sometime in the middle of May that I'm supposed to be able to hit 8 miles. I just don't see, I still just don't understand how anybody runs for any extended period of time. I don't understand it. And so this training does like interval training. So it starts off, you do like 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk back and forth. And now I'm up to 4 minute jog, 3 minute walk. And I don't know how I can pass this because the 4 minute jog is really hard. I was actually talking to our daughter, Natalie, the other day about it because she's more of a runner. And she said that the 4 minute part is actually like the hard part. And then once you pass that it becomes like progressively easier. I just haven't passed that hump yet. So yeah, within the next few weeks, I have to get from like 2 miles to 8 miles.
Okay. And you think that you're hitting like a wall. Are you just getting bored? Shannon, I know you. So are you just getting bored when you're running?
I am also bored when I'm running because I'm running on the treadmill instead of outside. Like once it gets nicer out, I got new running sneakers finally, so I can go outside. And once it's nicer, then I can run on the boardwalk by the beach, and that makes me happier to be near the beach. But right now, I like as soon as I wake up in the morning, I like change my clothes. I have my like green drink, and then I look for a show to watch as I'm on the treadmill. But it's like I'm just constantly like looking at the time, like how much longer do I have to do this?
Yeah, outside will probably help, but you're not getting winded, and your muscles getting atrophied. And atrophied is a big word for fans. But are your muscles getting atrophied? Or are you getting winded? Or are you just getting bored?
You know, I don't really know it's not like a burning in my muscles. And I don't think I'm that winded. It's just like at the end of the 4 minutes, I am over it. Like I'm tired of it. And so like, I guess I can probably push forward. I just don't want to. I don't know how to get past it.
Right.
But I just could try to like keep picturing Hawaii in my mind.
Right.
But we'll see what happens.
Well, isn't the thing, don't you have that competitive fire in you where it's like, I did 4 miles last time. Let me try 5 miles today. Let me get past that 4 miles, it's an obstacle.
I did that up until the 4 miles. once I got there, I was like, this is hard. And now I'm scared of the next bump up. And I haven't moved up to the next one yet because I'm scared of it.
What? I'm sorry if I missed it. My listening must have been off. But what did you say about interval training?
So it starts, you like log on to the thing every day and it walks you through it and it increases it each day. And so you're supposed to do 3 days a week, which I'm doing like 6 though, because my trainer is away. So I don't have anything to do those other days. But it starts off like 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk, 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk for half an hour. And then after a couple, and it slowly increases the jog time and decreases the walk time. So I'm up to 4 minute jog and then 3 minute walk. And that's what's giving me that 4 minute jog is getting me.
Okay. No, because interval training, I thought you were doing like crazy interval training to increase your lung capacity so that when, like a sprint jog, so that when you're doing the long distances, it almost seems easier. Like the sprint jog, the interval workout is more running with weights on. Then when you just running like at one pace, it feels easy.
Actually, my trainer suggested alternating between like my like weights trainer. He said to alternate because this app says to do 3 days and I've been doing 6. So he said I should alternate and then have one day where I do like a 30-second as fast as I can and then walk and then 30 seconds as fast as I can and then alternate between those. So
jog.
But he said like run.
Yeah, run hard and then jog and then run hard and then jog and then run hard and then jog.
So he's saying that to walk after that there's something about like the effect of that like high and low. And I think I would also die if I did just jogging and then fast running. I think I would die.
Well, how bad do you want it, Shannon? That's really what it comes down to.
I want to live.
And I love your weights trainer is different from your jiu-jitsu trainer, which is different from your boxing trainer. Shannon, you have a whole team. And you have a whole team. And then Natalie obviously showed you how to download these apps, these interval apps on how to, you have trainers and apps, Shannon, that are getting you in great shape so that you could have an affair and break the oath of your marriage.
Not having an affair, Mike. I don't know how many times we have to go over this.
I don't know why I believe you, but I do. But I do believe you. Okay. The interval training is on. Are you still fighting, Shannon? Are you still doing the boxing?
No. So once I started meeting with my trainer 3 times a week, I can't afford to do both because he's like a little pricey.
Yeah.
So I paused my boxing thing and I just train with him now. 3 hours a week.
Oh, weight training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's good because you'll increase your strength, but you better hope you never get into a fight. Okay? Because you're not going to be ready for it, Shannon.
No, I'm not. Just carry weapons.
Well, can I tell you what's going on with me?
Please do.
I mean, because this feels like a confessional. I always wanted to do confessionals, Shannon. That was my pitch. We just couldn't do it with a guest because it's too much editing. But I want to do a confessional right now.
Can I take my camera away? So it's just you talking to the camera?
No, I'll do confessions to you, Shannon. Okay. And I'll just pretend this is a screen. And I said, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. And you have the power to absolve me, Shannon."
Okay.
Okay. So did Joe Rogan a few weeks back, and I never met Joe Rogan. So I was like, I know Ari obviously very well. I know Jay a bunch of these guys who have done it, who are friends with him. And but going into it, like, you're going to have a 3-hour conversation with a guy that you don't know. And obviously I've seen the show, but seeing the show, the conversation can go anywhere. Just for people watching, it's like, it is a conversation that can go anywhere. There's no preparation for it. It's just, you meet him and then you get into it. Mm-hmm. So it was, and with that, it's like, and it's, a lot of people watching. So you have that in mind in the back of your head. So went from the hotel and the guy picked me up at like 1:00 and we went, and then I was smoking a cigar out front, and then met a couple of his guys, and the studio is just unbelievable in Austin. It's pretty great. And so he was very, very nice. Like came out, like shook my hand, like introduced him. It was awesome. Very, very nice. And cooked me around, showed me around the studio, and then we sat down and had the conversation. And the conversation was really good. If you haven't checked it out yet, go listen to Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast in the country. Episode 167. I think it's episode 167. But it was I was surprised how, I guess, part of Joe's talent is that how comfortable he makes you feel in that situation. So I felt very, very comfortable, talked a lot about boxing, talked a lot about mental strength, and we talked a lot about comedy.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's 1967.
1967.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was, I think that's the year we went into Vietnam. Which is no reflection on how that podcast went. That podcast it went better than what Vietnam went. It was great.
I listened to it.
It was a great one, Shannon. And a lot of people have reached out because they listened to it. And because he really pushed the special and his people really pushed the special. So I appreciated that. And then I did shows at the mothership that night. He offered me shows. He's like, do you want to come by and do spots? And I did spots on sold out shows there. When I was there, which was also awesome. And then just the hang afterwards was great. And during, before we were going on, because he was on all the shows also. And, he would do like an hour. He would do like 45, 50. I'm like, you're doing 45, 50 a night to work out is pretty unbelievable. So it was a wonder. I got to say, it was really a wonderful experience. Because when you go into these things, like you don't know what to expect sometimes. It's like, you don't know what to expect. You've seen the podcast, you've seen other guys do it, you know what other guys say about it, but I really had a great experience on it, and not just a great experience, but I felt very comfortable. And it's because he created the environment for that. So I'm very appreciative to him, and I'm very appreciative for being on that show. And it was a wonderful experience. And then it's been a few weeks since then. My special, for those of you who haven't checked it out, it's on YouTube now, and it's easily viewable for free and easily shareable. The numbers have been steadily going up. I've been doing all of our friends' podcasts here, and I've been on the podcast circuit more and more. And I get a call to do the Tonight Show, which I've been on several times, which I love. And I did it last night. I did it, and it was my fifth one, and it was fantastic. Again, another one that was really, really a thing, like getting the set together. I don't think people understand the process involved with doing a Tonight Show, that the people in the fans in the comedy world, but it's like you have to get a set together, you have to get it improved by standards and practices, you have it checked, and then you go and you run the set at the clubs to make sure there's a certain amount of time that it has to come in at, because it can't go over time because of the constraints of the show. So you go do all of that, you get the set together, and then the big moment, you're behind the curtain with the microphone. He gave me Jimmy Fallon does a very unselfish thing right before he brings every comic out, but I've noticed it every time I've done the show. They're at commercial. He'll come from behind the desk and he'll talk to the audience. Now, it's not on TV. You get no accolades for this, but it's because he was a stand-up and he came from the stand-up world, it's a very genuine and kind thing to do to the comic who's about to come out. What he does is he comes from behind his desk and he talks to the audience about who's coming out. And he was talking about me. He goes, this guy's been on the show several times. He's one of my favorites. Please show him a lot of love. And he's very funny. So make sure give him good energy while he's at. He just says stuff like that to the crowd to kind of prep the crowd for what's about to happen. Because they just had 2 segments with stars, legitimate stars who have like stuff on TV. And it's more of a conversation. So the crowd, he does this to kind of prep the crowd for what's about to happen. It's not like they've seen a bunch of stand-ups. They saw interviews, and he does like a game. And and the Roots are playing. So it's a bunch of different stuff. So he goes out and talks to them and kind of prep them for a comic who's about to come out and do 5 minutes. So it's a very kind and unselfish thing. And then I come out and I do my set, and then he shakes my hand, he pushes the special. And then we're sitting at the desk, and we're that talking, that inaudible that you can't hear on camera. But I actually told him that. I go, it's a very, every time I come here and do this, every time I do the show, because you're waiting behind the curtain, you can hear him go out from behind the desk and talk, just legitimately talk to the crowd about what's about to happen. And he kind of warms them up so that when you come out, they're receptive and every joke hits. So I told him, I thanked him for doing that. And not just for me, but for every comic. So we wrapped it up. Afterwards, you take a bunch of pictures. He's very accessible. I have a bunch of pictures with him. Katie was backstage. That's me saying what I'm saying, what I was saying, thanking him for going out and talking to the crowd. And then he's accessible afterwards. We take pictures. And Katie was in the green room. We took a bunch of pictures with her that I have even on my phone that weren't like official pictures, but took a bunch of pictures with him, talked to him for a while. And then we pack everything up. They give you the cards. They have cue cards where they put the topics that you're talking about so you can remember the topics. Because you have to remember when you're doing these things, you have to remember your set, but you also have to keep track of like kind of what the time is, because you don't want to go over a certain amount of time. Now you've worked on the set, so it's all timed out, supposedly. But in the moment, you also have to kind of keep track of the time because you don't want to go long, because then they'll have to cut it short. So all of those things are happening. So at the end, they give you the cue cards that you could take with you as a memento. You sign the contract for the show. And then they have a gift bag for you, which involves all kinds of like delicious, like cake pops. And I got a water bottle and expensive sunglasses, like a whole gift bag full of stuff. So you take all of that stuff, and there's a car that takes you home. And then we went and had dinner with Joe and Sarah, Joe List and Sarah Talamash, and then in Astoria. And then we went home and crashed out. So that was my night. That's been Rogan and Fallon I say within 2 weeks. So those are two huge things that have been happening with me. And it really, and the special constantly growing. I think we're just under 1 million. So I was telling Fallon that, and he's like, well, hopefully this will push it to 1 million. We'll push the special to 1 million. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully you guys are out there listening and you get inspired by this, and maybe you go out and watch it again. Maybe you share it with other people who might want to watch comedy. But those two things are huge. Were huge things in my life, huge things that will make 2023 memorable for me. So
Killing it, Mike.
Huh?
You're killing it.
Well, it was very touching. This is the touching part of the episode, Shannon. Okay.
I would say this is the truth earlier today, because today's my long day. So I've been here since 9:30 this morning. And when I walked out into the lounge earlier, there were a bunch of people watching your special in the lounge.
Oh, that's nice. Were they on fentanyl?
Yeah, but that's
because, you can watch it on fentanyl. I don't suggest it, Shannon. Now, how does this affect our show? I'm in the city. I'm flying out and doing stuff. You're getting lonely. You're working out more. And, we're kind of missing each other. We're not seeing each other as much. We're not spending as much time together. I'm spending more time on the road and in the city. And you're spending more time working out and on your fitness. And are we growing apart, Shannon?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Or maybe like me and Natalie are getting closer.
Yes, because you almost feel like a single parent at this point.
Right.
And that's one of your gripes that you tell the therapist that you go to see alone.
Yes.
But he's our therapist, Shannon. He's our therapist, but you also see this therapist individually.
Do you also see him individually?
Yeah, I see them for group therapy, for couples therapy that we go to. Mm-hmm. But this is your therapist.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the gripes I have with you, Shannon, because the therapist, I feel like, takes your side because you guys already have a rapport. And in the session, sometimes I go, oh, what a shock, Dr. Murphy, taking Shannon's side again.
Like,
Dr.
maybe I'm just right, Mike.
Oh, Dr. Murphy is bad. Dr. Cohen, we'd have to have a Jewish.
Okay. Is Murphy not a Jewish?
Murphy's an Irish.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So that would be the episode. I would be on the road more, working more, Shannon, and you're constantly working out more. I'm getting a little suspicious because you used to call me and say goodnight every night, but now you kind of don't. And then I put Natalie in the middle of it. I go, is your mom around? Oh, she's on a run at 12. She's doing night. This is a one-sided conversation. She's doing night runs now. She's doing night runs. Then I talk to you the next day. I go, you're doing a night run? Well, it was a CrossFit. I go, well, how were you doing it, on your back?
No.
Oh my God, that sounds accusatory, Shannon.
It does.
And then you say, I don't have to listen to this. Click, and you hang up on me. And have you ever been hung up on before, Shannon?
It's infuriating.
It's infuriating when someone hangs up on you. Have you ever hung up on somebody, Shannon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then you punch a hole in the wall.
Okay, well.
When I hang up on you.
Well, if you hang up and then do steroids. Shannon, if I punched a hole in the wall, I don't know if I'm strong enough to do that. I'm looking at the walls here. But if I punched a hole in the wall, would it subtly turn you on?
Not in the wall.
Because plaster never did nothing to you.
But the one where you punched my almost husband and his groomsman.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, you like that one.
Good.
But Shannon, let's stay with the punching a hole in the wall for a second.
Okay.
I punch the hole in the wall and you go, you're destroying the house, you animal. And then I hung a picture of you over the hole. That was an old joke from years ago. It's like you punch enough holes in the wall, but every time you hang a picture of the woman who caused it.
I feel like that's threatening.
No, you hang a picture it's like, that's how much I love this person. They make me do some crazy stuff. Hole in the wall.
Like, how I take that is like, this could have been your face. Like, this is just a reminder. That's how I take
forgot
that.
how your brain works, Shannon. That's how you would take it. Oh, it's not next to the hole being like, it is an arrow. It's an arrow to the, okay, this is your face next time, woman. No, Shannon, I don't think your mind should go there. Listen, I don't know what abusive trauma you came from, but this is a loving marriage that we're in. Okay, look at me. It's loving.
With lots of holes in the walls.
There's lots of holes in the walls, but there's the picture over the hole that's saying, love lives here now. Love lives here now.
I don't know. I don't love it. I'm going to have to talk to a therapist about this.
Well, maybe we should have punching bags stationed around the home.
That's better.
Okay, isn't that better? Or maybe we don't resort to physical. Maybe we don't resort to that. Maybe we use our words. Let's go back. Let's go kindergarten. Let's go red light, green light. Let's use our words.
Okay.
Let's take 5 and cool off a little bit. Shannon, when I ask you where you were and you say that Natalie says that you were running, you say you're at a CrossFit. I go, CrossFit on your back. And then we cut to commercial on that because we need the fans to cool off a little bit because you hang up on me after that one. Okay, you're not going to listen to this anymore, even though it's still in question what you were doing. And you understand the conflict because Natalie is telling me that you're on a run. You're telling me you were at a CrossFit. It's like somebody's not telling the truth.
It doesn't have to be a lie, though.
What does it have to be, Shannon?
Because Natalie is like, she's young. She's not really even paying attention. She just knows no parents are home. She's doing her own thing. So maybe she mixed up the days.
Okay.
And then that's how it resolves, is because it's some silly thing at the end of it that Natalie confused the schedule or something, and she's the one that caused the whole thing between her parents. Or maybe she did it on purpose because she wants that dog and she's trying to pit her parents against each other.
You would break up her parents' marriage for that?
Or just trying to like separate us a little bit so that she can work us against each other to get the dog.
Do you think kids actually do that, Shannon? Double Christmas?
I think so.
So they can have two Christmases?
According to television, they do.
Yeah. God, television is so great. I miss it. I miss it so much. So that's been my 2 weeks. It's been a great 2 weeks. It's been really busy, but it's been a lot of fun. And I did Real Ass podcast on, was it Tuesday?
Yeah. Oh, it's going to come out on Friday.
Come out on Friday on Gas Digital. Yeah. So a lot of big things happening. It was really good. I'm in Austin now doing Moon Tower Comedy Festival.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Natalie is actually going to be out there with you.
Is Natalie going to be here?
She is, yeah.
And did you send her here because you can't control her?
Just to keep an eye on you.
Okay. And you're sending her out here to make sure, like, you'll put up with one girlfriend in Manhattan, Shannon, but you're not going to have me just all over town.
No, not a bunch of randos.
No, not a bunch of randoms. If I have a solid one in Manhattan, yes, men will be men. But you're not going to put up with it all over the place. Come on. What is this? I don't know. Anything happening in the news, Shannon? Maybe we should cut to that segment. Oh, maybe we should go to plugs before we get out of here.
Sure, we can do plugs.
Let's do plugs, guys. It's at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms, MikeVecchione.com for dates. I'm in Chicago the end of May is the next one. Moon Tower Comedy Festival right now. Watch the special, share it. Numbers are good. Numbers are always rising. The Attractives, Mike Vecchione, The Attractives, directed and produced by Nate Bargatze in association with 800 Pound Gorilla. Give it a watch. At Comic Mike V on all social media platforms. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. This is a fun workshop family episode that we're having, which I think we're talking about a bright future for you people who love family stuff. Maybe this could be on our horizon. And for those of you who don't have a family, which is probably many of you from the demographics, this could be more of a home for you, a husband, myself, a wife, Shannon, and a mother, and a child, Natalie. Together. You already know us as characters. Now we're just living together in Tarrytown, New York, trying to figure it out.
And Tony Robbins and what's the other cat's name? Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers and Tony Robbins. One you want to keep as a cat. The other one you want to go, into the motivational world. Okay. So that's all my social. That's all the plugs I have, guys. Please continue to watch us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Our premiere. Like, subscribe, write your comments. We appreciate you. We love you. And that's it. Shannon.
Follow me on Instagram at Shannon Lee 6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is Ding. It's me and Mike Figs. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. Wherever you listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. That's absolutely free. The best way to support the show is to go to gasdigitalnetwork.com, use promo code MVI. That'll give you a 1-week free trial, which gives you access to every single episode of this show we've ever done, as well as every episode of every show on the Gas Digital Network. If you listen on iTunes, YouTube, wherever else you listen, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, a review, tell a friend. Every little bit of interaction helps the show to grow. Go to podcastmerch.com for t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs, and go to Mike Vecchione Investigates to leave your comments, suggestions, or video investigations.
Maybe this podcast would, if we do our family show, it would switch from Mike Vecchione Investigates to Mike Vecchione Domesticates.
I like it. That's good.
You like it, Shannon? Because I love it. And I think we just named this episode Mike Vecchione Domesticates.
That's very good.
Now, and to closing, Shannon, what's our time?
We are at about 53 minutes.
Okay, that's perfect. Because, instead of muddling us up with news stories, I'll give one final thought after all we've just talked about. how do you want to break this to Natalie? Do you think we should sit down as a family and live stream it? Of course, live stream it for the fans. Or should you talk to her because you're both women and you want to have the sex talk? You have the sex talk along with this? Or should I do it?
I think
You standing closely by? Or while you're working out one of your fitness classes? How should we break it to young Natalie? And keep in mind, she's a Gen Z, so she has no ability to overcome any kind of adversity at all. I mean, a strong wind will knock her down at this point.
So we do have to anticipate like her storming out of the room initially.
Okay. Yeah.
And then give her a little time, and then she'll come back in and then come around to it. I
But
think
should we frame it like we're her real parents?
yeah, if we start just like gaslighting her and making her feel crazy and just like fall into our roles and talk to her that way, and as we explain it to her, and then she'll just have no choice but to like fall into the child role.
Well, I mean, Shannon, these Gen Zs are real big on choice and big on doing what they're feeling and all that stuff. I mean, I don't think you understand the generation that well, Shannon. Okay, you might want me to take the lead on it. Forcing them is never good because they'll just use it as like an opportunity to quit an internship. So, yeah, maybe that's what we do. Maybe we frame it like it's kind of like a blood-related internship that she's doing, and because these kids love to do internships. So, or maybe they don't have any choice to do internships because they don't have jobs now. Everything's an internship. So do you think that would be better framing? And this is framing, what I'm using for framing.
That is better.
But I think it's important that whether it's on the podcast, I prefer it to be on the podcast, but if you want to do it in private, we have to be on a unified front. So if she tries to divide us, that we are together on it.
Or
I'm not against holding hands while we do it.
Or do you think we should do good cop, bad cop as a throwback to the former podcast?
Oh my God. Shannon, you are a gold mine of good ideas today. I don't know. Has Lewis poked you too hard sometimes? And now you've become a tornado of golden ideas. It's insane how many good ideas you've had just on this episode, Shannon. God.
But who's the good cop? Who's the bad cop?
Bad cop, good cop. I say, you know what, Shannon? Let's do both. Go in as a unified front. If she starts to tantrum and throw stuff, then we'll go into good cop, bad cop. Okay?
Okay.
That's a good question. Who's the bad cop there? I think if you're the bad cop, once you become good, you're able to mend that easier than I would be, because I think she would hate me.
Oh, because your toxic masculinity.
Good point, Shannon. I wasn't going to say it. I was going to leave it to the bloggers. But that's a great point. So I think maybe if we more, just give me code word veal scallopini. Okay, I know you're a vegan, Shannon, but for this is desperate times. Just say I'll go veal scallopini, and she'll go, what? And then that's when you launch into bad cop, and I'll be like, baby girl, you need to calm down. This is a child and a child's mind, and she's creative. And then you keep coming at her, and I'll be the protective one.
Good. We have a plan.
We have a plan. Mike Vecchione Domesticates. Stay tuned for your local listings. This was a great episode, Shannon. Thank you for bringing so many good ideas to our marriage.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and for listening and for loving us. Loving, because that's what a family is. For Shannon, for Mike Vecchione, that's me, and for young Natalie, who's out there horseback riding into the wind. This has been Mike Vecchione Investigates. We'll see you next week.